YouTube is on.
Hello, YouTube.
And I'll check to make sure. There we are.
I don't think I realized that. Where is Inadequate Outrage? I don't think I had seen the image for that. It's my Christmas.
Yeah.
My Christmas card.
Yep. Yeah, I figured that would be a good one.
Oh my God, I have no pride.
You sent it to me.
I know.
I assume for the purpose of actually using it.
I was probably on Ambien.
Oh, well, it's there now. And we are
well,
live.
If that doesn't bring in the people, I don't know what will.
You sent that out as a Christmas card. I mean, everybody got it, right? The whole audience.
Oh, man.
So you know that you screwed up your introduction the last time you were on.
Did I? What did I say?
Well, the first time was great because it was the borderlands between these two neighborhoods.
Borderlands.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
in the last one, you just said on the intersection or something. Let me see. Yeah, it would take too long to pull it up, but yeah, it was boring. Borderlands is cool.
Okay. All right. Borderlands. Okay.
Yeah. And we got a minute and a half to go on this fine precision timepiece, which I calibrated moments ago to the National Institute of Standards. National Bureau
Are we
of Standards.
Are we ISO certified now?
Yeah. Whatever that is.
Yep. It's meaningless.
Don't know what that is.
I won't tell you. It's too boring and silly.
But you know, I'm impressed.
Yeah. Don't be.
At precisely 8 o'clock, I will push the music. 1 minute from now.
Do we get to hear the music?
You can hear it, and it may screw things up on your end because Skype doesn't do a good job of two-way. We'll see what happens when it's your turn to talk.
Okay.
And if you remember what the cue is.
I just thought you were telling me the new music. I didn't know that was actually a cue.
It was a rehearsal. Your cue is, if I get my part right, your cue is after the guy goes, hey, hey, hey.
Okay.
That'll be your cue.
Okay, I'm going to listen hard for that.
I thought I lost the second hand for a second. 15 seconds. Everybody, hold your breath. 10, 9, 8. New music, everybody. New music for the Triangle Talk Show coming right up. In 1. It won't play. From the studio in the bonus room above the garage on the north side of Cary.
And the newly designed office on the demarcation zone between Walltown and Trinity Heights in Durham, North Carolina.
The demarcation zone?
I thought that you said
the borderlands, yeah. So okay, it's the neutral zone. All right, this is the Triangle Talk Show. I'll flash that up for a second and then get on to this. Episode 26. It's going to be some politics and other stuff. September 1st, 2018. Election Schmelection. I've got a alternate title. Primary Schmimary. You're paying no attention to politics, are you?
Some, yes.
All right.
1 hour trooper, that's me.
Is this a 1 hour show? Are we limited to 1 hour? This is a holiday.
I pretty much, I've got homework, so I'm pretty much limited to an hour.
Okay. So you're still a 1 hour trooper. Yep. Julia McClung. And I am Gary Pierce. Continue to be the snowflake until we get something better. Your privacy shield there is turned smaller and transparent. So
my what?
Your privacy shield. You'll need to remain fully clothed for the duration of the program.
Oh,
can you see it in the corner there? Are you looking at the right thing?
The Triangle Talk Show podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
there used to be a big box
that makes things weird. Like I'm so big and loud.
You're dominant.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
The audience is now making up its own jokes. All right, let me look at the notes that I've got here for doing this. Oh yeah, supposed to mention that we've got a website, triangletalkshow.com. It's got a survey, not a Survey Monkey survey, just a survey. Go take the survey at triangletalkshow.com. Tell us all about yourself, and we will collect all of your personal information and empty your bank account. And we got a Facebook page, facebook.com/Triangle Talk Show, I think. Hang on, let me clear this out. Super flammed up.
Nice.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a Twitter account.
Ooh.
I put together Twitter. So, I don't know what I'll do with it
now.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll do with it. I should have announced that that the show was going to be on tonight to the 3 people that are already following it, but I'm slack.
Oh, we've got 3 followers.
I think we do. I'm slack. Let me see. See if
Can you still hear me if I'm back here?
I can. You sound a little hollowish.
Okay.
Can you pull the mic closer?
Well, I'd have to hold it.
Oh, okay.
I could do that.
We can get you a mic stand. Yeah, it's pretty thunky and clunky if you do that.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of those mics aren't good for hand holding. So we'll just that works. I mean, for one thing, this is an audio show.
Right. You're not supposed to be watching this anyway.
Nobody
so
watches.
It doesn't matter what I look like.
Yeah.
Or how oddly I'm blinking my eyes while I talk.
We have 8 people following us. No, we have 3 people following us. We're following 8 people.
Well, that's how you get followers. You follow.
Let's see. Live. Blorb. Live now on YouTube. Oh, can I tell them where?
I don't know.
See. This can go wrong in so many different ways.
Oh, look at that. You should get a job at a tech company.
Could I make 6 figures?
Sure.
And which side of the decimal point do they happen on? Okay, there we go. I am so ready for fall. Today is September 1st. We were watching the news on WRAL, and the meteorologist, I think it was Mike Mays, said today is the meteorological beginning of fall. I have no idea what that means.
Doesn't fall start
like the 20th?
Yeah, 20th or 21st.
Yeah. But he said it's the meteorological. Thanks. Make me look bad. Beginning of fall. I could look it up, but I'm not gonna because we need to move on. But summer sucks.
I love summer.
In North Carolina?
Ah, yes.
You're hot, sweaty?
I wouldn't love it somewhere where it wasn't as hot as this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, I did nap most of the day on the couch in the air conditioning.
Yeah, well, air conditioning is what makes it possible to be here.
This is as far north as I can ever live. I like the summers. I hate that first crisp day of fall that everyone longs for. Oh, I can't stand it because it means winter's coming. It's the worst. That smell, that awful smell of like crisp. Oh, putrid.
I do love that. I grew up in Chicago, Detroit and Chicago, mostly Chicago. And in Chicago, whenever you stopped to think about it, it was winter.
Yeah.
It was never summer. If you were to just say, what is the season right now? It was winter. And there were 4 feet of snow on the ground. And it wasn't that pretty white snow. It was ugly
exhaust
gray.
Covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you don't want that, right? That's awful.
Well, no, but down here, it's just the opposite. Whenever you stop to think about it, it's fucking summer.
No, winter here drags on and on and on for days sometimes.
But it's not winter.
It's intolerable.
It's 45 degrees.
Oh, we get cold days, or we will have like 30 days in a row where it's 33 degrees and raining.
Well, yeah.
That's awful.
Well, it could be 20 degrees and snowing.
Snow is way better. At least in the South, snow is way better than rain because we get any little bit of snow and we stay home.
Yeah, and it goes away in a few days.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Mm-hmm. Not always. Most of the time. So I'm ready for fall.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree on that. And
in North Carolina, I mean, in Chicago, September was the beginning of fall. Mm-hmm. And so I am of the mindset whenever September rolls around that it's supposed to be fall. And things are supposed to get cooler. And we have a string of 95-degree days, 15 of them in a row. And in October, fall really happens. But
sometimes we still luck out and get a 90-degree day, which is nice.
Once in a while. And then I'm also of the mindset that winter begins by Halloween. And then I'm more pleasantly surprised because in North Carolina, winter begins about Christmas.
Yeah. Sometimes Thanksgiving.
Sometimes.
We've had snow here right before Halloween. A couple of years ago, while I've been living in Durham, it snowed a bit, either on Halloween or the day before.
And when you say snow, that kind of snow, you mean
flurries.
You saw a flake.
Yeah.
It could have been dandruff.
But that's cold. That means it's cold enough.
Yeah. Okay. When we went out for Halloween, we had our costumes over snow jackets, big puffy Michelin Man winter jackets.
And why didn't you just go as the Michelin Man?
Because everybody would have been the Michelin Man. We had that over our Batman and Superman suits. All right. What's this rumor you're going to retire? From podcasting.
Oh, it's things are busy. So how long was I full time on this? So 3 weeks?
I think we made it about 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks. And then school started.
And we knew that was going to happen. I just tried to block it out.
Well, and I thought about trying, what else could I do? But then, running moved from Tuesday to Wednesday because class is on Tuesday. So now I run on Wednesday, and then workouts on Wednesday had to move to Thursday, which is when we were doing podcasting. Because I've got to do, and then I have to do homework. Like, what am I supposed to do? And
you're not supposed to do this show tonight, but it's a holiday weekend. You got an extra day.
My first major assignment's due tomorrow night at 11:55 p.m.
You should be working on that.
I should.
What are you studying?
Parks, recreation, tourism, and sports management master's degree at North Carolina State University. I'm going to have a master's degree from Carolina and one from State.
You know where most of the parks are?
Where?
They're either up north
or out west.
Or up high, out west, where it is cold in the wintertime.
Well, but it is cold, but it's a dry cold.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I could be Utah. I love Utah. I think I could do winters in Utah.
Southern Utah.
Plenty of parks there.
Yeah, southern Utah. So, but have you been to Kanab in the wintertime?
Nope, not yet.
Talk to Cindy about that.
I know. She's told me.
It can get chilly. Did I remember to have you sign the NDA and the non-compete?
Oh, no. I don't believe you did. Are you afraid I'm going to run out and start podcasting with others?
My bad. The NDA, of course, the non-disclosure agreement means you're not allowed to talk to anybody about what we said on this show. Which, I bring that up because it's absurd. No, I'll give you the chance to respond to absurd. The non-compete, yeah, that'll be an interesting thing. Well,
yeah, I can't have Triangle Talk Show podcast.
Yeah.
How about Durham Talk Show podcast?
I'm thinking of syndicating the concept of a city or region talk show podcast.
Oh, good.
Because I think we could federate it. I think we could have these things all over, and then we could be guests on each other's shows. You know, what's going on out there in Phoenix? Phoenix podcaster.
Boise.
Yeah.
I've been having an argument with a friend of mine that Boise and Pasadena are essentially the same city.
Boise, Idaho. Mm-hmm. Pasadena, California.
Yes.
Same city.
I think so.
Explain.
It just seems right. I mean, the pictures I see, you know, it's just sort of stuff, trees, strip malls and things, downtown area. It's all the same.
Trying to think if I've been in Boise.
He lives in Pasadena, and he is extremely city proud, and I think it's just important to bring him down a notch whenever possible.
Who are we talking about?
Sedaris.
Oh, your former podcast host.
Podcast, yep.
Okay. Pasadena is what, a suburb of LA?
Yes.
Okay. I got a feeling that's very different than Boise. I guess I haven't been in Boise. I've been in Pocatello.
I looked at pictures of Boise. It seems the same to me. I mean, there are going to be restaurants and people and trees and stores. What's different?
Yeah, but not for the next 120 miles.
Well,
you get out of...
No, in Boise. Boise's a city.
Well, yeah, but it's not a big city.
It's a fairly large. I mean, Pasadena is not a big city.
No, but you pull out of it and you're in another LA suburb, and you pull out of that and you're in another LA suburb until you finally hit the desert. It's just like a bunch of Boise's strung together, really. Yeah, I think that whole area of California, it's just like a Boise attached to a Boise to another Boise. We're going to be hearing from our fans in Boise. In Boise. Right to Julia. By the way, she has an email address, julia@triangletalkshow.com. Is that working? Is that you get an email? Oh, I don't know. Did I ever get that set up? So it was. I did get it set up so it was forwarding. I thought. Well, actually, I set it up so it would forward to your Gmail account or to my. Yeah, I don't think I've gotten anything because you never check your Gmail account. No, I do. I do now. I have to. Okay. I'm better at it. I just get so much junk there. Yeah. Let me see your water thing. Oh, I believe no. Sorry, you have a fail. Why? See what's sticking out of the top here? Oh, look at you with your straw. Yeah. Yeah, earth killer. You see? Look. Oh, that's a hard straw. A permanent straw. Yeah. Yeah, I now feel bad every time I stick a straw in the trash. Not only that, it's even more environmentally responsible because I never wash it. So you're not wasting any water. Mm-mm. Nope. No chemicals going back into the water. Just science experiments going up into your mouth. Yes. It's just all my own grossness. Stuff grows. Well, we'll find out. So I want to go back to the weather for a minute because I forgot to mention something I wanted to talk about there. Back in the late 80s, 87, I disc jockeyed in a small town in Arizona at in what they called the low desert. It was 500 feet above sea level, about the same as Phoenix, which means in the summertime, average temperatures are above 110, and extreme temperatures 115. The highest I ever saw was 126 one day. Good. That's too hot. I'll give you that. But it's a dry heat until late August when the monsoon season starts, and then it's a humid heat. So I'd been there. I started sometime in the middle of May, and then I was brought there. I was a midday matinee idol for a few weeks in the middle of May, but the boss brought me in to be the morning zany disc jockey because he was going to take some time off, and so I was hired to be the wacky morning DJ. I had the morning zoo team. I had the newsman. I had the weather guy. I had the horoscope reader. And I think I was, okay, so I had been in the town now for a couple of weeks. And I was on the Wacky Morning Show for a couple of days. And I would get in, we went on the air at 6. It was a daytime station, so we couldn't go on until 6. I'd usually get in about 5:30, start getting things ready. And at about 5:45, the phone rings. The phone, 5:45? Nobody's calling the radio station at 5:45. Hey, it's the Wacky Morning Disc Jockey here from someplace in New Hampshire. Just wanted to check in with you guys in Arizona. Okay, yeah, what's going on? Well, we're having a heat wave up here, and we don't know what to do about it. What do you guys in Arizona do? I understand it gets pretty hot there. Yeah. We hug our air conditioners and stay inside. Oh, that's not going to work up here. We don't have any air conditioners in New Hampshire. Well, you're screwed. Well, thanks for the advice. Good talking to you. Signing off from New Hampshire.
Yeah, they do have trouble, though. I remember, it's hard because people die, and that's sad. But, it hits 85, and in Chicago and those areas, they talk about heat waves, and people start dropping.
Yeah. Cindy grew up without air conditioning as a North Carolina native. Where are you native? I forget.
Native Mississippi, but grew up in North Carolina. I don't think we had a house in Mississippi, but we stayed in a duplex, and that didn't have air conditioning. But I think that's the only time I've ever lived. I mean, in Asheville school, I didn't have AC. So through college, I didn't have any. And
we were touring NC State the other day. We went to a Meteos and had dinner. We haven't been to a Meteos in a long time.
It's good. I haven't either.
Yep. And we went and had pizza. It's as good as it always was. I don't think they ever get rated as Triangle's best, but they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm from Chicago, and we have a different definition of pizza up there.
Is that more Chicago? It's been so long since I've eaten there. I can't remember what the style is.
It is deep dish.
More Chicago.
A given slice of pizza is about 2 inches thick and weighs a pound.
Mm-hmm. I do like thin crust better.
Meteos is thin, although they had something that they called thick, but I didn't try it. Tried their thin. It was really good. And then we wandered over to NC State and wandered around a little bit. Cindy graduated from there back in the late 70s, and she showed me the dorm. It's now got air conditioning, but it didn't at the time. Mm-hmm. But then, by the time, October hits, you're only miserable for a couple of weeks, and then it's not that bad.
Yeah. Well, the dorms didn't have air conditioning. Did they? No, they didn't have air conditioning. My house up there in Asheville didn't have air conditioning. And when I moved back home and then moved out again, that house didn't have air conditioning. So I guess I have lived without air conditioning for quite a number of years. My first car didn't have air conditioning. And that was coming back and forth between Asheville and Raleigh in the summer. It would rain every time. It would be 95 degrees out. I'd have my cat in my lap, panting and covering him with ice cubes to keep him from overheating. And I'm just drenched in sweat. It was awful.
And you like this. You choose this.
I do like it. I would take that over freezing my ass off any day.
Okay. Well, it's all yours. Go turn off your air conditioner. See how long you last tonight.
Well, actually, it wouldn't be bad now because I can open my windows since I have new windows. It would have been awful before the new windows came in about 8 months ago because they were all painted shut.
Well, I guess when I grew up in the 60s in Detroit, we did not have air conditioning, either house. And in Chicago suburb, we did not. But my dad built a bonus room. It wasn't above the garage. It wasn't where the studio was. It was just out back of the kitchen. And they put a wall air conditioning unit in that. And I apparently had some kind of allergies, so they put window air conditioning in my bedroom. So those are the two cool places in the house.
Oh, that's good.
In the summertime. But it was Chicago, so it was not.
Well, and I want air conditioning. It's not that I want to live outside in the summer in North Carolina. I don't want to live outside anywhere at any time of year.
Wait a minute. You want to be a forest ranger. You want to take over Smokey the Bear's job.
I'm not Ted Kaczynski.
But you'd be outdoors all day. Or do you want to work?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to work in the park office?
But I want to be outdoors all day. But being outdoors doesn't mean living outside. So you can get in a car that has air conditioning and go into a building that has air conditioning.
No, you stand there and talk to tourists out in the heat all day. And then in the wintertime, then the cold.
This sounds awful.
You better rethink this new life plan then. So you want to be Smokey the Bear?
I do. Can we mock up a picture of me with... Oh, I need to do that for my presentation, my homework this week. I have to do a 1-minute video presentation of myself.
Well, here we are.
Here
you go.
I've narrowed it down.
Full screen.
So, I'm Julia McClung. I was born in Mississippi. I went to undergraduate at UNC Asheville and then got my master's degree at UNC Chapel Hill. Blah, blah, blah. I should probably put a little more work into it than this.
I want to make a video like that as well, but it's for a different purpose. I have a relative who is very old, in the late 90s now, and has been progressively into dementia for several years. She's pretty far gone. I want to make a video that's like, hi, I'm you back when I had my brain. And I just wanted you to know that, and all you folks that are taking care of this guy who doesn't know who you are and doesn't know who he is anymore, this is who he used to be. He used to be somebody. And I'm not sure what else I would put into that, but it would, just be, this is who I was. I'd like to be able to show the folks that are taking care of her who she used to be.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything like that. So
that would be
this is who I used to be.
Yeah. And I mean, show her as well. I'm not sure that would work. No. And I think she's pretty disconnected from just about everything. Mm-hmm. Doesn't even know her last name at this point. Doesn't know she was married to my dad. It's sad-ish. Would be very sad, but it's reality, and so you deal with it. It's awful. My grandparents both, my grandfather especially. Alzheimer's is the most fucked up, evil thing. I would love for it not to exist, and we may get to that point someday. But probably not early enough for me. Let's see. Well, not everybody they say the only reason that everybody, 100% of us don't get Alzheimer's is because we die of something else first. But, well, some people make it to 90. Some people make it into 100 and they've still got their brain. But yeah, that may be. Something else that is also not fun, but not nearly as much not fun, is that late night TV is closed. I don't know if you've noticed. Well, you don't, because you don't watch a lot of TV. And that slipped right past. For the past 2 weeks, the Late Show guys, Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, I think Trevor Noah. They're all on vacation. Yeah, John Oliver. Yeah. My parents have been lamenting that. Yeah, and I don't watch them live. What I see are the clips that YouTube gathers from them. Mm-hmm. And when I go to work out, I've got a TV show or a series of shows that I'll watch while I'm on the elliptical for 45 minutes, but I need something while I'm lifting weights and getting ready. So turn on the YouTube, and if we've done a show, I watch us. But if we don't do it that often, and if what YouTube has got, what they collect for me by their algorithm, they say, we know what Gary likes. We know him better than he knows himself. So they'll line these up. They'll have some clips from Colbert, from Seth Meyers does the Late Show on NBC, from Trevor Noah on Comedy Central, John Oliver. There'll be clips that are current. And for the past 2 weeks, they've had reruns from years ago. Yeah, my parents they religiously watch Colbert every night, and were complaining last week when we were at the beach that, well, there's nothing to watch. Colbert's not on tonight. It's just a repeat.
Yeah. By the way, I got a bone to pick with your mom.
Oh, yeah?
Well, we were supposed to do a show while you were at the beach.
Yes.
And I don't know how much you feel like tossing your mom under the bus here.
No, not a lot.
Don't feel like that?
No.
So I shouldn't take one more step along
maybe
that
not.
Dangerous path. And here I thought you had guts.
It's my mother.
Okay. Well, my parents are long gone. The lady I'm talking about is a stepmom. Cindy's folks are still around, and them I cannot. They are sacred ground. I can't go anywhere there. So
yep,
I got it.
I rip on my parents a good bit, but I appreciated that. That was our last night together, and we had plans, and to have to sort of stop, and they certainly wouldn't have prevented me from doing it.
For our fan.
For our fan. I know.
The guy in Raleigh that watches us.
I mean, because I feel as close to our fan as I do to my parents.
Okay. Next question. We haven't gotten to the topic of the show yet, by the way.
No.
I may have to drop you off at your 1 hour point. Because it takes a while to get there. But there's only one thing between us now and the topic of the show, which was Schmelection.
Schmelection.
Which, by the way, I had to check the spelling of what a Schmelection would be. I didn't know it was going to be SHMEL or SCH.
You got to do the SCH, yeah.
Turns out it's SCH. So I fixed that just before we went on the air.
Good catch.
Okay,
that would have been embarrassing.
There's a map out there. I don't have it to stick on the video. But a map showed up on Reddit not too long ago. That some kind of outrage map of Raleigh had labels for every area that was actually pretty mild, but they thought maybe it would poke some people in the wrong way. It was old. It was from, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I really should have that map up. But then, once again, this is a audio program.
Audio podcast,
yeah,
right.
So nobody should be watching. So it labeled different parts of the town, of the region, with kind of nasty, annoying labels. You know, like places where there were junk cars sitting in the backyard, and other places where their junk cars were sitting in the front yard. It left Southeast Raleigh alone, which is the African American, the mostly black segregated area. It didn't say anything nasty about that. Whoever made that was being on tiptoes on eggshells about getting really nasty. Mm-hmm. But of course, they called Cary the concentrated area of relocated Yankees.
Yes.
Which I heard about the 7th minute I showed up in town. Mm-hmm. I didn't live in Cary at the time. I lived in West Raleigh, near the fairgrounds. I forget what the map called that. It had something to do with the fair, cows and stuff. And I made a comment that, I now live in Cary, but I'm not a Yankee. And I was told that, yes, you are. And
because you're from, why?
Well, I'm from the north.
Yeah, that's a Yankee.
See, now, if
above West Virginia,
we need
in
Cindy.
fact, West Virginia is bordering on Yankee.
So
do you not understand how stereotypes work?
So you are now going to get mail from people in Boise and West Virginia.
Yeah, Yankees.
Yep. So my wife,
I'm just like northern West Virginia. I mean, not the God-fearing parts down south.
So Beckley and South might be okay. Yeah. Charleston.
Charleston's
borderline. North Charleston's a problem. South Charleston. They got the Capitol with that gold dome.
They do. That thing is awesome.
Well, awesome is a word for it.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't understand why Charleston is still, I'm glad it's not, but I don't understand why a developer hasn't bought up all of that sort of dilapidated property all along the riverfront there and turned it into, I don't understand how any of West Virginia hasn't been raped and pillaged yet. It just is so beautiful.
This is a problem. Some of the most beautiful areas are the most economically depressed.
Yeah.
And, their problem is coal, so they got nothing to worry about now because clean coal is back. And Trump is going to return all the coal jobs.
Yeah.
If he hasn't done it already. He probably has.
He probably has. He'll tweet it tomorrow, and it'll be a thing.
So my wife is North Carolina native. Born and raised. Born in Winston-Salem, raised there and in Charlotte.
Yes. She's not a Yankee.
She is not a Yankee.
Mm-mm.
She says that I am not a Yankee because she could not have married a Yankee.
Okay, so now that is a fair argument on her part. But I think it's because she's blinded by love. If she hadn't married you, she would definitely call you a Yankee.
Probably.
Yep.
I did spend a couple of years in Arizona before I moved here. So
yeah, that doesn't gain you anything.
Didn't de-Yankee-fy myself?
No.
And so I did a little bit of research on this too. If you were in Europe, everybody from the United States is a Yankee.
Yes, that's true too. But they're wrong.
But the folks from the South think that they're crazy.
Right. Right. I mean, they've got it all wrong. And you're a Yankee.
Yeah. If you are from the North, you absolutely don't care. You don't think about it. Doesn't cross your mind. No one talks about it.
Being Yankees?
You do not care. Someone from the South, you might get someone from the South to come up and talk to you a little bit. If it's a woman, then, she just has an adorable accent. If it's a guy, he's an idiot. He's just a redneck. He could be a nuclear engineer from Huntsville or Oak Ridge. But if he's got a Southern accent, he's a redneck hick. So up north, we don't care
about being called Yankees.
Yeah, it doesn't register. It's
right. Well, I mean, I don't think we mean it. I don't mean it in an offensive way.
Oh, sure you do.
I mean, I just mean you don't belong here.
That's the same as me calling somebody with a Southern accent a redneck hick.
No, it's just, it's not offensive or derogatory. It just is a way to categorize the people who should leave in a convenient way.
Yes. And I do know that there's Yankees, there's damn Yankees, and there's GD Yankees. I learned that from the research as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I've been here almost 30 years.
Definitions?
Well, a Yankee is just somebody from up north.
Mm-hmm.
A damn Yankee is somebody from up north who came down here. And a GD Yankee is someone who came down here and stayed.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you're a GD Yankee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I'm proud of it. What I say is that I wasn't born in North Carolina. I came here on my own.
Well, at least, I wasn't born in North Carolina either.
Well, you were born in the South.
But I was born in Mississippi, so I'm welcomed here.
Yeah. My mother was born south of the Mason-Dixon line. But I believe that you put Yankee territory well south of where she was born.
Where was she born?
I'm not going to say because it's the answer to too many security questions from banks.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't answer those truthfully anyway.
I think you just blew your security just by saying that.
Probably something they could look up.
You should have said because she's a CIA operative, and that would have been better.
That's because she's a CIA operative.
There you go.
Well, she died in 86, so.
You would tell me, but then you'd have to kill me.
Yeah, I've blown her cover. Okay, so we've established that I'm not a Yankee.
No. You missed the whole point of that conversation.
Quite on purpose. Because I got to live with Cindy. So the next question is either of us a centipede? And you are not going to figure out where this is from.
I want to try. No, I don't know.
No, you're not going to get it. I punch up on my screen, for those of you that are listening. It's a Reddit site called The Storm. The Great Awakening. The Reddit Great Awakening. QAnon and Q are thought to be members of the American military intelligence that serve at the pleasure of the president. This is a pro-Q community. Please read and respect our rules before contributing. I don't give a flying fuck about your rules. I'm not going to contribute. But across a site like this, and then sites, in particular, the one that I first saw it on was a Reddit site called The Donald. This is a Donald Trump praise hallelujah site. Everything Donald, all the time. It is Fox News on steroids. Fox,
and this is Reddit
Fox
too?
Fanboy on news. Yeah, it's on Reddit. And across that site, everyone calls each other Peds. Hey, Pede. Good point, Pede. Right on, Pede. Oh, you're a genius, Pede. I'm going, Pede? What's a Pede? So I asked, and it brought me to The Great Awakening. Q and QAnon. Please don't laugh, guys. What is a Pede? It makes me think of pedophile, but I don't know what it means here. Well, here's what it means. Pede is short for centipede. There were You Can't Stump the Trump videos during the election that all went viral. The background song was Centipede by Knife Party. The beginning of the song says, centipedes are nimble navigators who inject their venom into prey with two hollow fangs. We are centipedes, nimble and deadly. Fantastic. Thank you. And a centipede meant to address Trump supporters who don't agree with being called far right.
Oh, please.
Stay nimble, peds. Here's a Stump the Trump video here for a second.
Despite its impressive length, it's a nimble navigator, and some can be highly venomous.
All I'm doing is telling the truth.
Just like the tarantula it's killing, the centipede has two curved, hollow fangs, which inject paralyzing venom.
That's what I just said. I could have just played this.
So this is a positive attribute?
Well, apparently. And it's got 1.5 million views, so... And I guess that's the song.
You're having a hard time tonight. Go back to Univision. Go ahead.
I honestly, is this a pro or...
It's a little hard to tell, isn't it?
Is that a pro or against video? I don't I
believe it's a pro. And
really?
There were a bunch of these. You Can't Stump the Trump, and they're basically him putting people down, being...
And money falling from the sky, and people who look like cult leaders popping up. I don't know. I'm bewildered.
You just don't get it.
Hey,
You're clearly not a pede.
Isn't Steven Tyler suing them, or they've done a cease and desist because they were using Aerosmith songs during the campaign, and they've gone back to doing it. He had already told them to stop doing it, and now he's I think filing.
I remember something vaguely about that. I could look it up, but we're running short on time, so I'm not going to look it up. Here's the subject of our show. Let me get the title back up if I can. There we go. It's elections Schmelection or primary Schmimary. By the way, when we played the music, were you able to hear it okay?
Me?
When you were talking, you heard the music in the back. Oh, cool. They're making Skype better and better. And your picture is good. Are you seeing me good tonight?
I do. I'm much closer to the router, and that helps. And I'm also going to run, since all my classes are online, I need to run a actual a hardwired connection to my laptop. So it'll be even better next time we do this.
In a couple of years when you graduate.
No, it'll be sooner than that.
Okay. Welcome anytime. Did we finish talking about your retiring? Well, we talked about you got these classes and stuff. You're not going to be able to be a regular on the Pedcast. I'm going to change the name from podcast to Pedcast. Wait a minute. I just figured out what that could sound like. I'm not going to change it now. Okay. So, North Carolina may or may not have a general election on November 6th. May or may not. Did you know it may not?
I did know that it might not because about 3 hours ago you texted me and told me that.
Until that point, you were blissfully ignorant of the idea. You knew there was an election coming up.
I knew there was an election. I knew there was a debate about the illegal gerrymandering, and I did actually know that the election was in potential jeopardy because of this.
Yeah.
Are you impressed?
I am.
You just exhausted my knowledge, but I knew.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
I spent a week with my parents last week. This is all my dad does is research news.
They're left wing, right?
So very.
I'll get them on the show.
You could.
Where are they?
In Raleigh.
Okay, well, cool. But because we don't have any Raleigh representation yet. Oh, God.
I would love to see you trying to get my dad technologically set up to do a Skype video call.
That might be a problem.
Yeah.
All right. We may or may not have a general election coming up November 6th. At least.
I should say, I love you, Daddy.
He can't watch.
You can speak 10 languages, but there's no way you're going to get set up to do a video podcast.
You know who else has no technological expertise whatsoever?
Who?
Our president.
Oh, yeah.
He can't even email. He doesn't. He can tweet. That's it. He's got the tweeting mastered. I don't even think he sends out the tweets anymore. I'm pretty sure that's all staff.
I don't know. I think he's sending those.
He may send a few. I think the staff has got.
Somebody probably set up Alexa for him to just say, Alexa, tweet something stupid. And it's just like a random word generator.
I think that initially there was him and there was staff, and you could tell the difference. The staff tweets were under his name, but they were literate. Mm-hmm. They were just as off the wall, but they were literate. They didn't have misspellings and things like that. And I think the staff caught on that you could tell that people could tell the difference. And so they learned to emulate the boss.
Dumb.
Yeah. They learned to dumb it down and emulate the boss. So I think it's mostly staff now. I think. I don't know. But, I'm not there.
So they're multiple crazy people? I don't know. It just seems far-fetched.
The house is full of them. So we may or may not have a general election on November 6th, at least for the United States congressional candidates. We have 13 of them in the state. There are 13 congressional districts. The terms are 2 years, so every 2 years we re-elect them. And they're the big candidates, the top level candidates this election cycle. No governor, no president, no senators. This is the time between senator elections. So the congressional candidates are the big cheeses in this one, which means it's going to be a low turnout election because nobody really cares. You know who your congressional representative is? I feel like I'm doing one of those on the street interviews where you embarrass somebody asking them some basic questions about U.S. history or something.
Is that basic? That's not so basic. Who's my congressional representative?
Who your
I don't know.
Congressperson is?
Dan Blue.
No. He is one. He is one. I don't know all 13. I know you and I share the same representative. Although briefly, in the result of all this gerrymandering, briefly, I was bumped from the 4th district to, I think it was the 5th, and I had Renee Elmers for a couple of years. But I'm back. I'm back with my good old boy.
Who's your good old boy?
David Price.
Oh, is he still mine? Yes. I mean, David Price is like
forever.
He used to come. Yeah. He used to come door to door. I remember opening the door at my parents' house. And
there was David Price
was standing there. Yeah. I'm like, oh, shit. You're David Price.
I missed a bet. The North Carolina Senate, the state legislature's Senate, one of the two candidates for my district, have also been redistricted out of the district I was in, and I'm in a new one, and there is no incumbent candidate. So the two guys were vying for the Democratic primary, and one of them knocked on the door. And Cindy talked to him for a couple minutes, and I wasn't there. I hadn't started the cast yet, so I would have initiated the Triangle Talk Show that day if I'd have gotten him up into the studio. But that didn't happen. His name is Wiley Nickel, and I did meet him. He was he and his Democratic opponent, Luis Toledo, were standing out in front of the early voting site, and I talked to them for a couple minutes, so they wouldn't go on audio, especially not standing next to each other before the election.
Right before now.
Yep. So Wiley Nickel won, Luis Toledo lost. Someday I'm going to try to get him on. We can't get anybody on the show right now because if I could promise them an audience of 500 or 600 people, or a couple thousand, they'd come on.
Yeah.
But for the viewer in Raleigh, they're not coming on.
Yeah. It's a hard sell.
So, why might we not be having an election on November 6th? And let me point out, this only affects the U.S. congressional candidates. Everybody else is still in the mix. This will be the election. Well, sorry about being so flummy tonight. The uncertainty is based on a court ruling. Yes, another one. That congressional district map, which was drawn and then revised several times by the Republicans in the General Assembly, is an illegal partisan gerrymander. And why is that, you might ask? That's your cue.
Why, Gary?
Oh, well, there are two constitutional principles involved.
That's what I'm here for tonight, right?
Yes. Like comic relief. The two constitutional principles are the First Amendment and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. So now you can say, tell me more.
Wait, tell me more, because I don't understand how that works.
You're fascinated. Well, let me do some background here. A little bit of background. Two groups, lefty-leaning groups, I guess, sort of, Common Cause and the League of Women Voters of North Carolina, sued back in 2016 a guy named Robert Rucho. He's a former North Carolina state senator. At the time, he was the chairman of the Senate Redistricting Committee for 2016. It's when they were required to redraw the maps again because they had drawn maps that were a gerrymander. At that time, a racial gerrymander. So they sued him, and they sued in a venue that I had to look a couple times to get this name right. The United States District Court for the Middle District of North Carolina. Ever heard of that?
No.
It's a U.S. court. It's a district court, and the Middle District of North Carolina. North Carolina is a very wide state. It's got a middle.
I used to know all of this because I am a paralegal, so we had to go through and learn all of this court stuff and how it all broke out. But then I took the exam, and that was it.
Forgot it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But North Carolina is wide. It's got a middle, but we don't call it Middle North Carolina.
Middle, no. The middle one.
In Tennessee, which is equally wide, there is a thing that is Middle Tennessee. And I used to edit a magazine that covered things in the Southeast. Listening for strange noises?
I thought I heard a dog kerfuffle break out. Go ahead.
Yeah, didn't hit the microphone. So
they're not in here, and it's hard to hear, but I've got to make sure that no one's killing anyone else.
Yes. I'll let you know because I'll be able to hear it.
Okay. I've
heard it before. The Tennessee has got a thing that they call the middle, and this magazine I was editing, I hadn't heard of it. It didn't sound right to me, so I checked with somebody. Is it really like Middle Tennessee? Because that sounds a little hicky to me. But they said, yeah, that's what we call it, Middle Tennessee. And I didn't say that it sounded hicky. I just thought it.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
So here in North Carolina, we don't think of middle of North Carolina. Well, we got the coast, we got the mountains, we got the Piedmont.
Piedmont, yeah.
Yeah. It could be the United States District Court for the Piedmont. But no, it's the Middle District. All right.
Maybe they were planning for like climate change and the coastline receding, and they just wanted to make sure that, I mean, there might not be a coast.
Yeah. So then we'll be Eastern North Carolina.
Yeah.
Which I think they've also got.
Smart. It was long-range planning on their part.
And whoever is doing Eastern North Carolina now, well, they're just out of a job. Well, they're drowned anyway.
They're yeah.
Yeah.
That's the least of their worries.
Well, the plaintiffs, the League of Women Voters and Common Cause, allege North Carolina's 2016 congressional redistricting plan constitutes a partisan gerrymander in violation of Article 1 of the Constitution, the First Amendment, and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Now, Article 1 of the Constitution just basically says we got the power. We can stick our fingers in here. That's the. Otherwise, the federal government can't do something unless they've got some constitutional authority. You know, that's what we fought the Civil War over, states' rights. Mm-hmm. Well, this is Article 1 is we can meddle in elections. We got power over elections. That's what's in Article 1. But the First Amendment and the Equal Protection Clause, well, you know, I sort of knew that. But I was at dinner Friday night with my friend Jeff. You did the gun show with Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
Very smart guy. Mm-hmm. He said, how do the First and 14th Amendment apply to gerrymandering?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the punchline here.
And I did not know. So I did homework all day today, and I hate homework. I'm guessing you do too.
Not yet.
I will explain. I will explain. But me. First, well, there's this 3-judge panel that came from the middle of North Carolina, and they actually decided in favor of Common Cause and the League of Women Voters that, yes, indeed, the 2016 congressional district map was an illegal partisan gerrymander. And they told the Republicans who won the legislature and are charged with the authority for drawing up the maps, which is why they are the way they are. They said, new maps, please. And the Republicans stuck their foot out and started dragging the whole thing down, so nothing happened for a long time. And they're waiting for this. July 25th of this year, the Supreme Court vacated that judgment. They said, nah, that's not good enough. There were other cases in Pennsylvania and one in Maryland, and they sent those cases back to the respective courts. They didn't reverse the decision. They didn't. The district court here said it is a partisan gerrymander. Bad Republicans. Partisan gerrymandering. Bad. The Supremes didn't reverse that. They just sent them back, and they said, take another look. Specifically look to see if the complaint zeroes in on all the districts. And now I'm hearing clunking in the background there.
Yeah, I think it's just...
It was a clunk. It wasn't a growl.
I think they're just knocking on the door.
Let me out. So they said, take another look and see if it applies individually inside the districts, because we ain't accepting the whole state as one big thing. We're not saying we're not going to take the idea that the whole state is being unfairly treated. You got to go look inside the districts. I don't know why they thought that, but that's what they did. The language was whether or not the plaintiffs had standing to lodge a partisan vote dilution claim under the Equal Protection Clause. So they just wanted to see.
I thought the job that I would least like to have was a proctologist, but I think that this surpasses
parsing legalese from the various courts.
Yeah.
Yep. My job is to make this fun, and I am going to fail. Fail badly. The Supreme Court.
And now I'm going to get letters from Boise, West Virginia, and proctologists.
Yeah. And
should be an interesting email week.
And Supreme Court fans.
Yeah.
Julia at triangletalkshow.com. But we don't know if that actually gets through yet. We'll find out. Supreme Court wanted to see if voters in each of North Carolina's 13 congressional districts were found to have their votes carry less weight than they would in another hypothetical district due to gerrymandering. Okay, so the hypothetical district is one that was not gerrymandered. The existing districts are the districts that have been gerrymandered. And so if you live in a gerrymandered district, and we all do, would your vote carry less weight? And I guess it would be your Democratic vote, because the Republican votes carry more weight than if we lived in a non-gerrymandered district. That's what the Supreme Court wanted this middle of North Carolina court to decide. And this week, that 3-judge panel, working under the auspices of the United States District Court for the Middle District of North Carolina, said, why, yes, that in fact is true. We agree with ourselves. We have reinstated our original decision. The maps were illegal, political gerrymanders, and they should be changed. And by the way, it's September 1st. The election is in 66 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we are waiting to see what the fallout of that decision could possibly be. Here are some options. The court may declare the maps have to be redrawn before the November 6th election, saying, nah, you're not going to vote based on those maps. And oh, by the way, the primaries we had last May that used those maps, out the window, canceled for congressional candidates. All the state level stuff, still okay, because that's a different court. But
I feel like this is needlessly complicated.
Well, it is. Isn't all government? Isn't any trial?
I still don't quite understand why a vote doesn't just count for a vote.
Yes. The basics of gerrymandering.
Yeah.
How does that happen? I might be able to mansplain that to you in a minute. It's 9 o'clock. Is your coach turning into a pumpkin here?
I can go to 9:15.
Okay, we'll see how much we can get through here.
But try not to fill my pretty little head with too much information. Get overloaded easily.
Math is hard. So
it's hard.
The courts may decide that the maps have to be withdrawn, which means that we lose the primaries too, because they were done on illegal maps. Well, actually,
sorry. Wait. Map is hard.
Map is hard.
Okay, go ahead.
We could take this back, another couple of elections, because we had elections 2 years ago, 2016. The maps were illegal then. All the congressional candidates elected then, under this reasoning,
that would be kind of awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not against that.
Yeah, I think they're only going to go back to the primaries. The effect of that would be to turn the November 6th election into a new primary. Everybody runs again. And then have a brand new election just to elect congressional representatives sometime in early December.
I kind of like the chaos that this is creating.
It would create
How
chaos.
much is this going to cost North Carolina?
Oh,
how much does it cost already? And,
millions.
And how much is it going to cost?
Yeah, millions of your
And does anybody
dollars.
care that they put together an illegal map that now and then moving the election and all of that? I mean, we're going into the billions of dollars. So in order for them to try and fraudulently sway the election to the results that they wanted, they fucked everyone in North Carolina through spending their tax money on this.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I have the solution. I'll reveal the solution in a minute.
Balls, man.
Even the folks that brought this suit, the Common Cause and the League of Women Voters, they say no. It's too late to redraw the congressional districts for 2018. We have to go with the ones that we got now, and their reason is that they really wouldn't mind going through a new set of primaries and having another election, except that they would lose because nobody would show up for the December election except Republicans. Yeah. They would show up. And so it would just get worse. So they don't really have a good way out of this.
Can't we sue?
Well, that's what this was.
Huh?
That's what this was. It was a lawsuit.
But I mean, can't I sue? Just, I want my money back.
I suppose you could try.
I mean, nobody's supposed to be 3/8 of a person anymore.
Yeah. And I believe that women can vote now. I'm not positive about that. You think that this is a little convoluted? This is the decision from the court.
Ugh.
I would like to point out that the last page is page 288. It is called Remedy, and that begins on 288. The remedy runs until sometime in the 300s and includes a bunch of disputes as well.
I would like to point out that if you're only listening to this in audio, you're lucky because you just got to miss a 320. How much did that document cost to write?
Okay, where was I? So that's only one option to make the primary over again and then run the election later on. The Supreme Court could step in. The Republicans are going back to the Supreme Court saying, "Nah, you've already told this court to think about it again, and they thought about it and they just decided the same old thing. So why don't you step in and just say, forget it, that everything's fine, just the way it is." Have we explained why this gerrymandering thing is even a thing?
No.
All right.
Gary.
This will be quick. This will be quick. In the last couple of elections, approximately 53% of the vote toward congressmen was Republican, and about 47% was Democrat. That's pretty even. That's pretty close to 50-50. We have 13 Congress people. We have 3 Democrats and 9 Republicans. 10. With 13 districts. I've lost my math. Maybe it's 12. Maybe it's 12 districts. In any case, there's a whole lot more Republicans than there are Democrats. There's nowhere close to 50-50. And the reason why is because the districts are gerrymandered. How that works is harder to explain. Have you heard the terms packing and cracking?
No.
I don't know how you missed those. Well, the idea is...
I missed Achy Breaky Heart until it was like 5 years past its date.
Yeah, I heard it once.
I've never seen Titanic.
It took me a while to understand.
A lot of things.
It took me a while to understand packing and cracking, but I got a clue now. The idea is that you draw the district maps that will stuff as many people that are likely to vote Democratic into as few districts as possible. So you've got you know how voting happened. You don't know who voted for who, but you know in the small precinct level, you know which ones went heavily Democratic, which ones went heavily Republican. So now you can draw lines around them to create congressional districts that you can say, well, this is where most of the Democratic voters are, so we're going to put them into just a few districts. And this is where most Republicans are, and we're going to divide them up so that they're in lots of districts. So you pack as many Democrats into small districts or into districts as you can. Mm-hmm. And in the other districts, you separate the Democrats and concentrate the Republicans. So what you end up with is districts that will vote Republican for most of the districts, and you can't make no Democratic districts. Just physically can't do it, but you can keep them pretty small. In fact, the guy whose job it was to draw them up said the only reason why that we had 9 Republican districts and only 3 Democrat districts is we couldn't figure out how to make 10 Republican districts and 2 Democratic districts.
He said that?
He said that. And that's in this court decision. He said that because at the time, the Supreme Court was only hearing complaints about racial gerrymanders. They hadn't really made any decisions about partisan gerrymanders. At the time,
I don't
partisan
understand
gerrymanders,
why any of that.
Why any of it should be okay. Why shouldn't it just be even Steven?
Yeah. A person a vote, just say coast, Piedmont, mountains, and here are your reps, and you just vote, and there you go.
Yeah. Well, the districts are drawn up smaller than that, in theory, to have some geographic representation.
So that's okay. But even then, that's all you would need. So say you had 10 districts, 30 districts, everyone who's within that. I don't understand how any of it's possible. Why? I declare.
I think that our viewer in Raleigh and most of the other people, if we had thousands of people watching the show, most of them would be with you and would say, "This is just giving me a headache."
Yeah,
figure it out. To be fair, North Carolina's legislature was Democratic for decades. Pretty new that we have a Republican legislature. The Democrats did the same thing.
Well, I think it should not happen no matter what. Just get rid of all of that. It's expensive and stupid and unethical.
Yeah. And
if I win, I want to win fairly. If I lose, I want to lose fairly. That's not we learned that really early in life. Why is it so difficult?
Well, because our politicians are craven.
Craven bastards.
They're craven bastards. And the Democrats did it for decades. They drew the districts to favor themselves. But the Republicans had the advantage of computer science in 2011 when they pretty big Republican wave took over and they all got voted in. And they said, to keep ourselves voted in, because we think this will probably be a temporary phenomenon, we will redraw the districts. They get to do that. The census happens every 10 years. Based on the census, now we know where people have moved to, and congressional districts get redrawn. North Carolina has been adding a congressperson every couple of decades because all them Yankees are moving down here.
Yeah.
And so the districts get redrawn, and guess who gets to do it? Whoever controls the legislature. Mm-hmm. Well, the Republicans did starting in 2010. And they turned on their computers, and man, did they do a good job of gerrymandering. So things got better for them, and they've been winning ever since, way above the statistics of what the state really is in terms of political thought. Mm-hmm. We're purple. We're about even. Swings a little bit one way, swings a little bit the other way, but okay, it's 9-3, so 12 I got it now. 12 districts.
Nine
Republicans, 3 Democrats. That is not it should be 6 and 5.
Not as ignorant as we look on the red and blue maps.
No. Democrats, of course, right now are all saying that we should have nonpartisan map drawing. And they'll say that until they take power and change their mind.
Right. So why is that just not a constitutional thing, that there must be nonpartisan map drawing? Like, if anybody was asking the Supreme Court for anything, why wouldn't they ask them for that?
Well, the Supreme Court doesn't rewrite the Constitution, although some people think that it does. But they don't add clauses to the Constitution. They interpret, and there's nothing close in there.
Let's just do that. Let's just rewrite that for all the states, that it's nonpartisan.
So an amendment,
building.
Constitutional amendment to the.
That's a much better use of our money than all 50 states fighting this every couple of years. I mean, because we're certainly not the only state. Texas, since Trump, I mean, how many states have had this exact same? How much money have we spent on this of taxpayer money across the nation?
And we've wasted a lot of money on a lot of things, and this is one of them. Mm-hmm. All right, so the First Amendment and the equal protection. I've kind of gotten lost. The stuff that I've got written up is going to take way too long. First Amendment says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or, and here's the clause that applies, abridging the freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
I guess I understand that. So if you're damaging the representation and the vote is considered an
expression of speech,
a voice, is considered your voice, then you are potentially. And you're reducing the volume of my voice while increasing the volume of someone else's, then you are restricting my speech.
So you're not as dumb as you look.
I'm not. I'm ignorant. I'm not dumb.
So freedom of speech, that's part of it. And that is legitimately what is being argued. The Equal Protection Clause, no state shall make or enforce any laws which abridge the privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States, blah, 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 nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws.
Same
so if you're in,
principle applies.
Yeah, if you're in a district that is being given less power because of gerrymandering, then you are being denied equal protection of the laws. Those are the two main things that the common cause.
Pretty smart argument they came up with.
Yeah. Because everybody else is just saying it's unfair. Well, that doesn't make it in
done.
Court. Yep. There's a lot more detail, of course. The Republicans disagree with all of it, of course.
How are they? Well, whatever.
Well, yeah, it's all in there. There is this giant. Let's see. This giant thing, where did it go? Yeah. Okay. This thing that goes to page 320 or so, I think. Yeah. 321. I got a PDF of it. It's actually pretty interesting reading. It's not as dense and abstruse as you might think. Your Christmas card again. For the audio audience, Julia's making a face. Kill me now. Put me out of my misery. I'll put a link to that on the Triangle Talk Show website, triangletalkshow.com, for episode 26. And you can read it yourself if you want to.
And if somebody wants to read it to me, record an audible version of it.
Here we go.
Then I will listen to it while I shower.
Here we go. In these consolidated cases, two groups of plaintiffs allege that North Carolina's 2016 Congressional Redistricting Plan, the 2016 plan, constitutes a partisan gerrymander in violation of Article 1 of the Constitution, the First Amendment, and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. After conducting a 4-day trial...
36 hours later.
Yes. Well, that's what you were asking for, I believe. Anyway.
Well, I wasn't going to listen to it all now.
Oh, okay. I'll record it for you You can play it. I'll send it off to Audible and see if I can.
Yeah. Because on Audible, I can push that button that says speed it up 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. So I can just play it really fast.
Well, in that case, in these consolidated cases, the 2 groups of planets at much of the North Carolina 2016. I can do that.
The terms and conditions voice at the end of a drug pharmaceutical ad.
I have a confession to make. Part of my job was making those things fit in their 30 seconds or minute or whatever. And I did plenty of them. And we have a tool that speeds that up. It'll speed up speech that would normally sound like this and just, and we did that all the time. And I'm gonna have to do that for my video because I have to do a 1-minute video of my entire life. So I need to apply that filter. It's gonna be tough. Send me the video. I can speed it up for you. I've got the technology. All right. So, along with this thing, the congressional thing, there's the 6 amendments over Fuquay. The 6 amendments are going to be asked to vote on. Mm-hmm. And another ploy by the Republicans to get their base to turn out because they're kind of Republican-ish. The voter ID thing is very Republican-ish. The hunting thing, I don't know. The things that would take away power from the governor and give them to the legislature, I don't think Republicans can stay any more awake for those than you can. So I don't know. I don't really see them as being successful to do that job of bringing out the base, but maybe. But if anybody's confused by them, well, the simple thing to do is just vote no on all of them. None of them need to be there. The one that the advocates are not part of this deal and are desperately wishing that people could separate out is the Marsy's Law, the victims' rights thing that makes sure that if you were a victim of a crime that you're notified that the perpetrator has gone to jail, he's getting out of jail, he's going to be in court, things like that. Sometimes victims don't find out, and they probably should. Does that need to be a constitutional amendment? No. Yeah. It needs to be law. It should be law, and it should happen. But even if it was a constitutional amendment, that wouldn't change it's supposed to happen. Yeah. I think it's mostly already supposed to, but yeah, I don't know. Well, makes you just want to give up and die, but you can't. A little bit. You can't because the side that is hoping that you will is the side that's currently in control. And so the thing to do is make sure you go vote. And maybe the Democrats that you would want to vote for didn't win in the primary. Don't stay home. The Democrat that is going to be in the election at every level is going to be closer to your interests, assuming that you're like Julia and me, than any of the Republicans are. So, and voting is easy. Yeah. Not as easy as it used to be because the Republicans have attempted to restrict the times and locations of early voting, but you can still get there. Yep. So go vote. Vote for the Democrat of your choice. Yes. Whoever the Democrat is, vote for. I mean, we're open. Yep. I mean, I don't even know who I'm voting for. It's just going to be a Democrat. Well, David Price will be the congressional candidate. Yeah, and I've voted for him every time. Many times. And if there was any reason to think about it or know who they were, or if there was any variation or if there was any option, when there is option, in primaries I think about it a little bit, but if there is any option, I would think about it, but there's not. So it's the closest representation I find of my voice. I find it pretty easy. If the candidate is going to move the country or the state or the region closer to the direction I'd like to see, I don't let the perfect become the enemy of the good. They're going to get my vote.
voting for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Well, in the primary, that's fine.
Right.
In the general election, don't say, well,
don't do that.
I wanted Bernie and I don't like Hillary, and
right.
See what you got.
Don't do that.
See what you got. That is another show, and we will do that show one day. So in the meantime, this show has been episode 26, politics, and we did a little more fun stuff at the beginning. A little dessert first.
Yes.
Election, Schmelection, or
primary, Schmimary.
You are
Julia McClung, the 1 hour and 21 minute trooper. And badass. I miss badass.
We'll make it bad. Wait a minute.
Look at that. On the fly.
There you go. You're badass again. And I am Gary Pierce. I am the proud snowflake here on the Triangle Talk Show. Whenever you can get back, be glad to have you.
I'll look forward to it.
Over.
Thanks for teaching me everything today, by the way.
Did I mansplain it too hard?
You did. No, you did a good job.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We're a little closer. We're a little closer to understanding what's going on here.
Yeah, I did have to do a lot. As close as I need to be or ever have any interest in being.
I did have to do a lot of homework to understand these things, and it left me not as much time as I would needed to write it out in an entertaining way. I got it to clarity. I don't think I got it to entertaining.
I think it worked really well. And this is, so for those of you out there who are like me and kind of lazy, find yourself a Gary. Find yourself a John Sedaris.
Here I am.
And
or your father.
On to these people and let them do the work for you. You have to find someone who you respect, who you trust to make good decisions with your voting dollar, and then let them do the research because they like it. And God knows we've got better things to do.
Yeah. Don't let me or anybody else tell you what your principles are.
No, that's why you've got to find the person with matching principles and then let them do the homework.
Yeah.
Don't just pick you don't need to read this stuff to have principles. That's my whole point, is that you can have principles. You can understand how things should work and be logical and not be a complete asshole. Yeah. But you don't need to understand how gerrymandering works. You just need a Gary.
To be gerrymandered.
Gerrymandered, yes.
Yep. It's also a totally another show, but the whole idea here is that the guys who say, Trump is my man, we're not going to convince them of anything. We're not going to change any minds.
No.
No one is going to change our minds. Mm-mm. There is this fuzzy middle. People that are not paying very much attention. They're low information voters. It's easy to disparage them for lack of interest or lack of paying attention, but they're living their lives.
And I'm a low information voter. Again, find someone with like principles that's willing to do the research, or come listen to our podcast, and Gary will share his wisdom with all of you.
Damn. I like that. I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
See you later. Over.
And out.